Hello, this is Dumont, and today I would like to revisit Alpha Hydranoid. Now, I was one of the first people to do a review on this guy on YouTube, and it's been a long time since then. I know a lot of hardcore collectors, Bakugan fans were very disappointed when he came out, but it doesn't change the fact that he was hugely anticipated. Everyone was looking forward to seeing it. Okay, so how has my opinion changed since? Well, let's revisit this awesome character. Part of the reason why a lot of people were really disappointed with this guy was that he was released during Season 2. Now here is Neo Drago, and if you put him together, he does look rather outdated in my opinion. Neo Drago comes across as having more detail, just more parts. But if you line him up with the original Dragonoid like this, then he doesn't look outdated. They look like a really good match together. So I think that was one of the main problems, is a lot of people at the time were not comparing him to the original Dragonoid. And compared to Delta Drago, it's perfect. I understand why they re-released Delta Drago in B2 size. Now we have Alpha Hydranoid compared to dual-headed Hydranoid, and it's basically a battle between the 3 heads of Alpha Hydranoid versus the 2 Cobra heads. Which one is cooler? Well, I think that was one of the main problems. The Cobra heads are cooler. They look much nicer, especially since these other 2 heads are, they look like drone-ish. They don't really look like heads. So that's a problem in itself. But when people saw that, right, and it's so obvious that this guy looks so much cooler, they're not including the entire picture, which is, you have to include the transformation. And the transformation wise, you got to admit that Alpha Hydranoid has a more basic, a more solid, a much better transformation, period. Hydranoid has caused a lot of problems. I am a victim of one of those people, should I say, because I've had a Hydranoid before and I had to actually send it back to Spin Master. I made a video on that, so check it out if you want. So bottom line, you have to include the entire picture. If you just go by first looks, yeah, dual Hydranoid does look much cooler, I agree. And here perhaps is probably the biggest reason why Alpha Hydranoid has had trouble being accepted by the fans, especially the hardcore fans, is Hades. When you compare these two, Hades is clearly the better Bakugan, period. I just said it black and white. Now, it doesn't change the fact that you may not like Hades for whatever reason. You have your personal opinions. So in that case, Alpha Hydranoid does give you a nice alternative. I've said it before when I first reviewed him way back when, and I'll say it again. Alpha Hydranoid is not a bad Bakugan. I still hold myself to that opinion, and I still agree. I really don't think that he is bad. The main problem, like I said, was that he did not live up to his hype. It could have been timing. My main comment here is that he may not have lived up to the hype. But then again, most things do not. So the bottom line conclusion is, never believe the hype. So let's take one more last quick look at this guy. You can see, once again, he has these tiny, cute little batsy wings, and his claws and his arms are attached to them. I've received a lot of comments, just people don't know what they're talking about, saying those are heads. Maybe in the show, in that location, that's where the heads came out of, but I'm talking about the toy. It's very clearly, you'd have to be completely crazy to think that that is a head. These 2 right here are the heads, and it comes with the movable jaws, which is a very nice touch, but On the other hand, if it didn't have that, you would never ever guess that to be a head, so it is necessary. He has a relatively high G power for those of you that are into that, so that's good. And the detail on his chest here is nice, although it would have been much nicer if, since he is a special attack, they could have actually added a saw there, a rotating saw, and that could have been much nicer. Even if it was something as simple as putting in right here like one of those zip cords, and you pull it and it causes the chest saw thing to start spinning, even if it doesn't make him move. If that's all it did, that would have been really cool. It's just too bad that they didn't think like that. So anyway, not a bad Bakugan. I do have to mention the single-headed, the first normal original Hydranoid guy that they released even after this guy. And all I have to say about that one is, I know a lot of people were excited about him, trying to get him into Masquerade Evolution packs, but honestly, that guy is ugly. He is bugly, muggly, he is fugly.